Have you ever looked at a vintage league leaders card and not been sure who a player was because they weren't in the Hall of Fame? Well, this is one of those cards. This is the 1970 American League batting leaders card from the 1971 top set. The reason I'm including this is because of Alex Johnson, who won the batting title in 1970 for the California Angels. It's a pretty interesting story, actually. Johnson, he was a pretty decent player who was actually pretty gifted, but a troubled guy, who worked his way out of a couple different teams before he found his way to the Angels in 1970. In 1970, he was with Carl Yastrzemski battling for the batting championship all season, and it came down to the last 2 days of the season. The Red Sox had finished a day before the Angels, and Yastrzemski technically had a lead in the batting title. In the last day of the season, Johnson went 2 for 3 in his first 3 at-bats, and in the 5th inning, he got lifted for a pinch runner, technically the batting champion for the season. He beat Yastrzemski by only 3/10,000ths of a point in his batting average. And then, he took some flack in Boston because he basically won the title sitting on the bench rather than continuing to play the rest of the game. But anyway, Johnson won the batting title. He had a good 1970 season. He was an all-star. But by the time this card came out in 1971, boy, his fortunes had changed dramatically. He had been suspended 5 times with the Angels that season, really for just some odd behavior. He was not running out ground balls. He was loafing after fly balls. His entire team was really against him even playing for the team. They wanted him gone. It was just, his attitude was really bad. He ended up getting suspended indefinitely by the team, and he filed a grievance with the team, and he ended up taking it to arbitration with Marvin Miller, and he was reinstated back to the Angels, and it was found that he had a mental disability that prevented him from playing, very much like being on the disabled list. So the Angels had to take him back. They put him on the disabled list for the remainder of the season. Then in 1972, they traded him before the season even started. He ended up going to the Indians after that. In fact, the last 5 seasons in baseball, he was with 4 different teams. He's with the Indians, Rangers, Yankees, and Tigers. His last card was in 1977, although he didn't play that year. He was done after 76. After baseball, Johnson went and worked for a trucking company in Detroit, where he was from. It was a company his dad founded. And he was basically had nothing more to do with baseball. He ended up dying in 2015 of prostate cancer. Really kind of an interesting story, and I would encourage you to read some of the links down below. There's 3 of them that tell you more about Alex Johnson. To this day, he is the only Anaheim or California Angel to ever win the batting championship. Not even Rod Carew did that with the Angels. So that's the vintage card of the week, the 1971 Topps American League batting leaders from 1970. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. And as always, collect what you love.